Do we live on a hollow Earth? It sounds insane, but scientists believe our planet may actually have a secret space inside it. They call it a gigantic alien planet. You must be thinking, how can there be a planet inside the Earth? How can it stay there without anyone noticing? Well, if that is what you're wondering, then stick around till the end, because in today's video, we will tell you everything about this secret planet. So let's start. Remains of an alien planet inside the Earth. About 30-40 years ago, when scientists were studying earthquakes on Earth, they accidentally discovered two giant blobs deep inside the Earth, beneath the African and Pacific Oceans. These blobs were so big that they were almost the size of a continent, and their composition was completely different from the normal rocks of the Earth. This raised the question of how these strange blobs reached near the Earth's core. Then Chianti, a geophysicist at Caltech University, claimed that these blobs could be the remains of an alien planet, Theia, the same Theia that collided with the Earth 4.5 billion years ago and gave birth to the Moon. Now, scientists do not have any direct samples, as neither any human has reached the Earth's core, nor any leftover piece of Theia has been found. Still, Chianim claimed that he had come to this conclusion based on the study of the inner parts of the Earth. But how could such large blobs exist inside the Earth without destabilizing the Earth's rotation? And how did scientists first discover them? The discovery. In the 1960s, 8 volcanoes erupted in 3 years on the Hawaiian Islands in the US. This was strange, because volcanoes are usually active in areas where tectonic plates collide. But Hawaii is far from the boundary of tectonic plates. To understand this mystery, scientists mapped all the active volcanoes in the world. They found that most of the volcanic activity was concentrated in 2 places, beneath Africa and the Pacific. This led to 2 conclusions. Something unusual existed beneath Africa and the Pacific Ocean. These things were in the mantle, the part between the Earth's surface and core, because tectonic plates keep moving, but these hotspots remain stationary. The discovery of the blobs. But there was a problem. It is impossible to dig into the mantle. Projects like the Kola Super Deep Borehole could only reach a depth of 12 kilometers, whereas the mantle is thousands of kilometers deep. Then scientists adopted a new approach, studying seismic waves generated by earthquakes. These waves travel through the Earth, and their speed changes as they pass through layers of different densities. MIT professor Katij Aoki measured the speed patterns of seismic waves and found that the waves suddenly slowed down beneath the African and Pacific regions. This meant that some different material was present there. On investigation, it was found that there were 2 structures, like giant sand dunes, which were as big as continents. They were named, the blob under Africa was called Tiso. The blob under the Pacific was called Jason. Theories. In 1994, scientists at Germany's Max Planck Institute put forward a theory. When the supercontinent Pangaea broke up 200 million years ago, the heavy ocean crust sank down. This debris reached the mantle, and special reactions took place there due to high temperature and pressure. The water particles in them reacted with iron to form iron peroxide, which is very dense. Over time, this dense material collected near the Earth's core, and from there giant blobs were formed. And these blobs are the ones that even today periodically give birth to hotspot volcanoes by creating fountains of heat and mass. But later, scientists rejected this hypothesis because the blobs were way too heavy. If they were made up of iron peroxide, they would have already fallen into the Earth's core. Today, scientists still cannot explain why 2 giant blobs exist beneath the Earth's surface. Some scientists claim that they are remnants of an alien planet that crashed into the Earth millions of years ago. Others believe that these are UFOs that crashed into the Earth and are now abandoned. Maybe one day we will find out the real truth behind these blobs. But for now, we can only guess and theorize. Earth's alien core. At a depth of more than 5,000 kilometers, the Earth's core begins. Here the temperatures reach 5,000 degrees Celsius. No known material can withstand such high temperatures. Even the hardest metals, like tungsten and rhenium, melt hard. It means that the core is completely liquid. However, at a depth of more than 12,000 kilometers, the pressure is so great that it squeezes the core and turns it into a solid. That is, the core of our planet is a huge ball made of extremely hard material. But what exactly is it composed of? After all, we know that the Earth's core contains a lot of iron. It's just unclear how much iron and what other elements are also present there. Scientists used a unique X-ray to peer inside the Earth's core. For this purpose, they used data from various space agencies, including NASA and the European Space Agency. They fired a powerful X-ray beam at the Earth. Then they studied how this beam was reflected from different layers of the planet. The results surprised the experts. It turned out that the Earth's core contains 3% more oxygen than expected. Moreover, there are also sulfur, aluminum, zinc, copper, and other elements there. But the most surprising fact is that the Earth's core contains about 170 billion tons of carbon. Where did all this come from? Perhaps this is the legacy of the long-forgotten ancestors of our planet. In the early days, the Earth was bombarded by meteorites and comets. It impacted our planet so hard that some of its pieces fell to the core. Another explanation is the remains of ancient bacteria. Perhaps microorganisms fell into the core along with other space debris and remained there forever. UFOs from Mars. A few months ago, scientists at Curtin University in Australia published a preprint in the scientific journal EPL. They argue that the unusual structure of the Earth's core may have appeared due to a collision with an extraterrestrial object. It could have happened about 4.5 billion years ago. Back then, the young Earth was bombarded by asteroids and protoplanets. One of these space objects was quite large. It was about the size of modern Mars. And this celestial body was called Theia. Perhaps the collision of the Earth and Theia led to the fact that part of this Martian planet fell to the core of our home. As a result, the structure of the Earth's core changed. By the way, scientists have another version regarding the origin of the Moon. According to it, the Theia planet crashed into the Earth. The impact was so strong that part of both planets split off, and then the Moon formed from this debris. There is also a third version, according to which the Theia planet approached the Earth too close, and both planets captured each other in their gravitational field. As a result, the Earth was greatly stretched, and its hot matter escaped beyond its boundaries. Subsequently, this matter condensed in orbit, and eventually the Moon formed. However, these are just theories. None of them can be confirmed or refuted. The lack of evidence is frustrating scientists. If they could prove any of these versions, they would get a Nobel Prize. But let us return to the original topic. Can there be whole planets inside the Earth? In fact, it is impossible. The fact is that the Earth has a magnetic field that protects our planet from cosmic radiation. Without this shield, all life on Earth would die very quickly. And the magnetic field arises due to the rotation of our planet. If a second planet suddenly appears inside the Earth, it will definitely affect its rotation. Consequently, the magnetic field will change. And since it happens very quickly, all living things on the planet will die within a few hours. Scientists know about this problem. Therefore, they carefully monitor any changes in the Earth's magnetic field. For example, in February 2021, Researchers from the University of California recorded an earthquake in the Earth's magnetic field. However, this anomaly lasted only a couple of hours. In general, the magnetic poles of the Earth shift from place to place, but they do this very slowly. One shift takes about several 100,000 years. Can we see inside the Earth? In order to see inside the Earth, we need to break through its crust, which is 30 to 50 kilometers thick. The idea of drilling a hole through the entire Earth belongs to the Soviet Union. Back in 1970, they started implementing the project called DEEP. Only 12 kilometers deep hole. However, the project had to be abandoned. The Soviet Union simply ran out of money. In general, the deeper the well, the higher the temperature, and at some point, the drill bits will become so hot that they will simply melt. However, scientists have found a way to look inside the Earth without drilling holes. They use seismic tomography. It is enough to create an earthquake of appropriate strength, and then measure the speed of its waves in different directions. The denser the rock, the faster the wave moves. This is how scientists learned that the Earth's core is liquid. Moreover, thanks to this method, they managed to create a map of the Earth's inner structure. It shows areas with different densities, and scientists can compare this map with the density of various minerals. So, they determine what minerals are inside the Earth. Would you like to see inside the Earth? What do you think these giant blobs are? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. See ya!